All right, hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the Team Next Level Quad Pod. I'm Coach Greg, joined by James, Marilyn, and Rich. What's up, everybody?
Hello.
Baruka Taranai.
I knew you were going to do that.
Inside joke for all of the subscribers. You're going to have to join our Patreon page to hear what that means. So, big recap episode today.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
James, Rich, and I went down to Cambridge, Maryland, quite the happening place, and competed in Eagleman over the weekend. So we're going to just recap our weekend. And then at the end, we're going to talk about Marilyn, who's got Mont Tremblant coming up in, what do we got? A little bit, 9 days, 10 days?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Get pumped.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
I am.
So, gentlemen.
Can we talk about
How
the town
was it?
for a second? The
You wanna
town
talk
was
about the
really,
town?
Yeah, that's
it
what I
was
want to hear
really
about
nice.
first.
Like
Yeah.
I thought it was a great place to be. There was a lot of like local restaurants and flavor, and it was just cool. I don't know.
How were
liked
the
town.
crowds? Was it crowded? Like, were a lot of people out?
I
No?
don't
No,
think
I
so.
didn't. I mean, it was, did they say how many people were there? We had like 1,800
I want to say that.
1,800 people racing.
But that's-
and
yeah.
it really didn't feel like that.
Nice.
Which was really good. Like we'd get reservations, we could get seated. Like it
Yeah.
was.
How was your hotel? Like, did you guys have to like drive to the start, or was it close? What was
Our hotel was not bad, right? I mean,
A
like
B.
10 minutes away.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it was a comfort inn.
A B.
Okay.
They were still using
That
mag
was
stripe
funny.
technology on the.
Oh,
Yeah.
on the doors.
On the
So-
doors.
We didn't like it wasn't until later. I think Rich figured it out, but everybody there at
Greg
best
figured it out.
one key might work, and then and
Yeah,
everyone
that's
not just us. Like we'd see people checking in and trying to get. We're like, yeah, they don't work, and like we don't know what the person's doing. Like it was like when they program it, and then later we realized it's our or Greg
your
realizes the
phone.
phone was
Yeah.
demagnetic because everyone now always has like the NFC or
Yeah.
RFID. But those magnetic ones,
Yeah,
they
the
just
phone.
erase immediately once it's in your pocket with your phone. So
We'd
So
get back to the room and be like, fingers crossed, one of the keys works.
Especially after the race and your legs are shot
my
and you're like,
God.
I don't want to have to go back
Yeah.
downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of caravan down on Friday.
Mhm.
Got down there, little quick spin of the legs on Friday afternoon.
that's
How
when
were
we
the,
first.
how were the
we had-
roads?
Well, I mean, there was, I think we only hit one speed bump, right, Rich? You
I hit one speed
bump.
bump. Like, so this is what happened. So I'm riding with a good enough distance because we're an arrow. Greg's a little bit up ahead. Then I think James, right? And then me. And then I think Koichi and Michelle behind me, right? And I see like a little bit, as much as you can see, like a little bit of a lean on Greg. I just see him like lean into the like almost other side and come back. No idea what's going on. I'm just going. And then James kind of does some weird thing in front of me. The next thing I know, like a black snake, the side, like the length of this
pretty good
my
table,
size.
God.
it's just going across the road. I got nowhere to go. I go right over this thing.
Yeah.
I almost, I like heart attack. Like, oh my God. Like this was so scary. And then Michelle and Koichi are like, yeah, we saw its head come up. I was like, oh.
Was it like a skinny like garden one?
No, it was
or
a good. It was a good
was a
size.
good
It was probably
size.
3 or
But
4 feet long.
I think Greg's marine biology assessment was not venomous.
Not venomous at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it
Still,
like
it's
I had
coming for
no
you.
choice.
Yeah. It's
Like,
Coming
like,
for you.
like
I think
Oh
he's just
my
trying to
God.
get off of the road.
just
I would
yeah,
die.
it
And then he runs it over.
runs it over completely.
But apparently didn't kill it. It
was gone.
scooted off to the
Kept
side.
going.
I was gonna
That
get
going
video.
so fast.
Gross.
I was gonna try to get video of it on the way back, but it was gone. So either something took it or it survived and crawled off. But I felt bad because when I'm in arrow, I don't take my hand, like I don't point to like stuff.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
like, I'm not letting go. And I was like, sorry, Rich.
Every man for himself.
It was. I was like, well, every snake for themselves. And I was like,
Yeah.
just couldn't do anything about it. I have no idea what happened behind me, but like
Oh
it
my
was
gosh.
it was
That's
an insane
funny.
experience.
But yeah, that little spin out ride was when we first realized how flat, like
Yeah.
riding on completely flat was like. And we're like, wow,
Yeah.
this
Gosh.
is
Yeah,
nuts.
so it is a dead pan flat ride. I know the course description says 340 something feet of climbing. I don't know where they find that.
Yeah.
To those two little bridges they had us go over.
Yeah,
I
it wasn't
think
even bridges.
Did someone Strava? I don't know if it was Michelle. Someone Strava said zero
Mine.
elevation. Yours,
Mine
yours
Wahoo said zero. And
elevation.
That wouldn't surprise me
Yeah.
one bit.
Yeah.
so when Greg was like, yeah, Wilmington's double, like, all right, zero still.
Yeah.
And it was like the cars that were passing us, they were super nice. They gave us
good.
plenty of space. I mean, there wasn't a lot also on those kind of like side roads. I don't know what you want to call them, but gave us plenty of space. It was really nice to ride and just kind of felt.
But there were
really
barely
good.
any cars total.
Yeah, there
Right.
wasn't a lot.
Yeah, I
but,
feel like
nice.
it's a pretty desolate area out there.
but you
Yeah.
weren't getting buzzed as they
No.
were going by.
No.
Nope,
Mhm.
not at all. And then so the easy spin Friday, Saturday was just kind of shake out the legs, kind of wake them up for the next day.
Mm.
We were done by I don't know what time, 10:30, 11.
Yeah. That's when we first got a little preview. Like, ooh, it's a little hot.
It's a little bit hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the temperatures we knew were going to be climbing throughout the day and then into the next day. So we were kind of prepping for that. But
So what'd you guys do? Just hang out at the hotel?
well, we went to the
That's the
village.
whole picture.
Yeah, went to the village.
So John and Jackie, when we were coming back from the little the
Shakeouts.
spin up rides or
Mhm.
whatever you call them,
Openers.
openers, then John was coming out from the hotel. So then we met up with him. He rode a little bit by himself, and we got back. Jackie was in the parking lot with Ruckus, and so we all
That's their
caught
dog.
up. That's their dog.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
How's the expo? Same as usual.
Same as usual.
yeah,
Muscle
actually,
Man-ish.
first time I didn't buy anything.
Oh,
I was-
really? Good
I
for
don't
you.
know. Yeah, I was,
me and Rich played guess so they have Lululemon branded Iron Man stuff now, and it's like guess the price kind of stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah. Expensive.
Price is Right kind of game show.
70s.
my daughter would have loved
$70.
it.
so a T-shirt, Iron
Like
Man
50?
branded T-shirt, $88.
Oh.
Yeah,
From Lululemon.
yeah. I don't know how much
think
time it
that's
saves
cheap.
you on the run, but it looked nice.
The one
Yeah.
good thing about
Actually,
that brand
this
though
the one
is
online. I think it's Lululemon.
it's like warranted for life. Like my
Is it?
my daughter has
Mhm.
she loves Lululemon and she's returned like leggings that pilled.
Yeah.
And they
Mhm.
just
they'll exchange them.
yeah,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
like
Okay.
no questions asked.
Yeah.
Good to
Cool.
know.
Good to know.
It's like lifetime clothing basically.
Okay.
I
Mhm.
like it.
Until she grows out of it.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, so we went to the expo together, right? And then we kind of checked in together,
Mhm.
put our bikes in transition, and we said we were going to be together, and they gave us our numbers together.
How many of us were there?
And I
Six?
ended-
There were 6 of us in total.
Yeah,
So like 283 281 to 287?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Mhm.
We're like, oh yeah, we did it right. We checked in together. 281 to 287. We get to the rack.
It only goes to 280.
It goes up to 286. We're like, oh, where's 287? And like we're thinking, is it then like right around? What it's
it was all the way at the end of the like 100 bikes, like the other
Aw.
side.
No, more than that. We were 286. It's the end of
300.
Yeah, in the video, when you walked to
286
go get
all the
him,
way
you
on-
walked really far.
Yeah.
I
He
was
was
like,
all
where
down
is
the
he?
opposites, like exact
Aw, Rich.
opposite
I
side.
had a nice end though. I had like
Oh, the
my,
end is nice because
yeah.
you get lots of room.
Yep,
Mhm.
and yeah, so we set up and then did some like 10 minutes of swimming, I think, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Somebody-
so they had swimming.
They
nice.
They had it marked too, so they had the buoys in the water, so people were swimming, and it was really pretty. I mean, it was just like beautiful water, beautiful
really
skies.
nice park. Like you're in this pretty big park. It didn't feel crowded at all. You know, it was,
And that I loved about it because like
Yeah.
when we were at other events, and you saw the tents of the teams and like whatever other people were there, it was always crowded in one
Yeah,
space.
yeah.
There was plenty of room for them. So like all the tents of
Oh,
the
nice.
teams that came down were in
Mhm.
this park area, like Greg was saying, and they had plenty of room.
How was the water warm?
Not a single jellyfish in the water.
Rich is holding to that he got bitten by the only
The
jellyfish.
only one.
God.
I have
The
it.
only jellyfish in the Chesapeake Bay that day, but
that day. Yeah.
I don't know if I
Some-
buy
Rich found it.
I think
That
he
was the
scraped
only one.
himself.
Well,
on
Probably.
his-
what's good is you started acclimating to
Already,
the venom
yeah.
now.
I'm good now.
Right. So
Because
Yeah.
man, of that bike course for 112 would be pretty nice.
is
Yeah.
it the same bike course?
I think it's very, very similar.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no hills to find out there, so it's
Yeah.
going to be flat no matter what you do.
Same roads. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Is that the same location of the Ironman?
Yes.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
very
and that
tempting.
water and park has plenty of room. It's great. So plenty of room for everybody, well, whoever's coming down. So we
Mhm.
swam, right? Somebody got some food.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some jerk chicken.
They had trucks. Not a lot of
Not a lot.
choices, but they had trucks.
It's better than nothing. Better than Muscle Man. I feel like the village
There was
didn't
nothing.
have
Didn't
food,
have.
no
there
food
was
there.
They
no
were
food.
crammed.
I was
Yeah.
starving.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, that's what I told Greg. I was like,
And you had
I
to
gotta
walk
eat. I
for
don't
a
wanna be hangry
mile.
like Maryland.
Yeah.
Oh, we got the inside scoop that at that race, right? I don't know who you texted, but we could park close to the transition area. So the day before we parked
hmm
and walked, and it was like 2 blocks we walked.
Yep.
And then, yeah, that was totally fine.
Yeah, because they didn't close because they had closed off on race day a lot of the roads because that's where the run and bike would go through. So you had to, that's the only thing. The Jerry Boyle Park, I think it's called,
Yeah.
has no parking. Like
Oh.
so, it's either park on side streets, neighborhoods, or whatever. So we had to take a a shuttle bus, yellow bus, and in the athlete guide, like they can accommodate bicycles
Oh, on the bus.
on the way back, but it's
And
not
I mean, they did accommodate
physically.
It
yes.
accommodated.
Physically, they fit.
But you're not. Doesn't make you
It
happy.
wasn't very comfortable.
It was a weird.
You're
Yeah,
like holding your bike up in the
What?
aisle.
You're holding it over your head.
in the
just kinda-
bus.
it was
Yeah.
weird, but
Oh, God.
it worked.
Yeah. So
After a race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
No.
want to have to do that.
but you
Yeah.
don't want to have to walk a mile either.
that's
So
the
you're
other
like, yeah,
option.
I'll just put up with
Yeah, I
with
guess.
holding the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we drove the course afterwards.
Right. Then we did drive the course. Oh, got loud.
And that's when we saw how flat it was going to be.
Yeah.
But very well marked.
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
a great, very well run race.
Mm-hmm. And
All right. Well, let's start with the race.
Okay.
Race
Swim.
morning.
got
Race
up,
morning,
got
yeah.
up bright and early,
Dark and early, 4
4
o'clock.
a.m.
What time did you
I
wake
got
up?
up at 3 a.m. I think.
Oh my God.
What time did you guys leave?
We're
for?
we're supposed to leave at 4:30.
Okay.
so I
you
got
got
it.
up 3.
So there were shuttles. You had to go to school, which was about 10 minutes away, and they started shuttling from that school at 4:30 to the race.
Oh,
Which you didn't
okay.
have your bike, which was fine. You just came with a
Yeah, yeah,
bag,
yeah.
but you parked at a school, and then school
Waited
buses
for
took you.
the bus.
We didn't
We
have to
didn't
wait.
wait.
I mean, we
Very well run.
once they put half of the people on the bus, like half of the bus full, they took off. They had 6 or 7 buses running,
Oh, nice.
so it was easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there they dropped you right off almost a transition, a block away or something.
Yep.
I remember stepping out of the hotel and it felt pretty humid that
Mhm.
early in the morning, but I remember Greg said that humidity was
Yeah, it
going
was
to kind
gonna
of
go
drop
away.
off as the
Mhm.
day went on. So I think it dissipated pretty quickly in the morning. But yeah, it was pretty easy to get over. We were all in transit. John was actually there early. He got there before all of us, I think.
Yeah.
Because I saw some guy setting up his bike next to us, and I was like, man, who's this guy? And then it was like John, because he had his hood on, and he was probably cold and everything.
Yeah.
Um,
What was the temperature in the morning?
I don't remember.
It
Low
wasn't
65?
uncomfortable.
yeah.
Long sleeve t-shirt was
Mhm.
perfect.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was really nice. And they announced the temperature right away. I think 71, if I
Mhm.
remember
Was the
correctly.
water temperature nice?
Yeah. So
Mhm.
perfect. Right around
Wetsuit?
70.
Mm-hmm.
It was a
So
good
what's
number.
it legal?
They did
Mhm.
something different there where instead of just like going up whenever you're ready, they started like pre-seating everyone before transition closed. So they were like maybe like 10, 15 minutes before transition closed, like
Yes.
27 minutes and under, start making your way
nice.
up. So it wasn't like this
Big
jam.
mass of
So,
people.
like,
Yeah.
They had one guy hold up that sign.
Nice.
And you
'cause-
corralled into that sign. They would just say
Nice.
whatever, 35 to 40 or whatever, under 27, everybody go. And then if you were in transition, so everybody under 27 went.
yeah.
Yep.
Not like they went into the water, but they went
But
to the
they
guy
went
with
to
the
the
number.
guy.
And then they
That's nice.
kept rolling that up. But I also don't remember from other races, but thing I noticed that this race, which was really good, they kept announcing that I don't know if it was Ironman or anyone else, they had like bike pumps all around. Like if you need bike
Yeah, they
pumps,
usually do that.
and then if you need water, they're like, and you can fill your water
Mhm.
wherever. And that was also cool to know.
Yeah. So yeah, it wasn't like Muscle Man where we got like,
Yeah, and
we
they
went on the
had
outside and we had to like squeeze in through the gates.
Yes.
Right.
It was much better run for that aspect of things. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was nice.
And not a lot of announcements. Just did I didn't hear a lot of
Mhm.
announcements, and just anthem, and then started rolling us in.
Mm-hmm.
Right on time.
So
Mhm.
yeah, the water
Nice.
was very calm, good temperature. We had a tide going out as soon as you got
Yeah.
in, apparently.
Yeah. It wasn't too strong of a tide, I don't
Yeah.
think, at that point. I think we were leaning into slack tide or coming out of slack. So it wasn't moving too much. And then
Like a
not
look
too
up
much
slack
sun.
tide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slack
So
is
how
in
did you
between.
guys-
Greg,
it's
how
when
was
the-
your swim? Because you
How did you guys feel?
you were
in
the
swim?
fastest
Yeah.
out of us. So
How'd you feel?
About how I expected. Like I didn't feel like I was pushing too hard. Keeping the heart rate under control. My goggles were my left goggle was
Oh.
filling up with water.
oh
and
no,
I
your
was-
Swedish goggles?
No, I don't use Swedes in the race because
Oh, you
I'm worried
don't?
about getting punched and like
Mm.
not
Oh.
having any kind of padding. So it just slowly filled up more and more with water, and I didn't really want to like
On your-
stop and
On your breathing side or the other
the
side?
breathing side.
Oh,
Yeah, so it
that's-
sucked.
Yeah,
There were
it's
times like towards the very end, the last like couple hundred yards, I would breathe and just see blurry because that was completely
Yeah.
full at that point.
You
It
didn't
wasn't a
empty
big.
it?
I didn't. I
Every
was-
second
I was
counts.
dealing.
Jeez.
I was dealing okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, swim went exactly how I expected it to go.
Any contact? Any?
Yeah, you know what? Like more contact than I'm used to, but I think I took that as a good sign. for me, it felt like everybody in my group, at least, seated correctly because everybody was moving at a very similar pace. Like I was passing some people, and I was getting passed by some people, but not quickly. Like so, I wasn't like buzzing past anybody. Nobody was buzzing past me, which makes me think like everybody was within a couple of seconds per 100 of each other. And why is my mic doing that?
It's only, we don't hear it.
I don't hear anything.
Oh, so maybe it's my headphones. Okay.
You sound perfect.
Yep. So good.
Yeah. So there was, oh my God, that's going to drive me nuts. So there was a decent amount more contact, but not like angry contact, more just like
Just bumping into each other.
Just rubbing your leg. Is it smooth?
I did have a couple of caresses on
he
my
shaved
feet.
his legs.
Yeah.
Did anyone tickle your toes?
Yeah, there was a couple of like toe tickles and it
Did
was
you
fine, though.
tickle? Did you
I feel like
caress?
I feel like
This is
I did.
getting weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
As it usually does.
So, I mean, I came out, I think my swim time was like a 32 low, which
Nice.
is pretty much where I thought I'd be. I thought I'd be somewhere between 31 and 35, 4. So, right where I
Sweet.
thought. Yep.
Rich?
For the swim, yeah, it was a great swim. I think there was a little bit of I felt a little bit of like a tide maybe on the turn, like right after the turn for a few hundred yards. Because I had to just adjust it a little bit to breathe to the side I was breathing on, just a little bit higher. And then coming in, I really liked the way they set it up. Like you smoothly rolled into this, I don't know what it's called, but like almost a corral out, and then it opened up, and then you corralled back into the finish line. It was really great. I did get a lot of touching, not a lot of kicking or punching.
Weird.
I
Again.
don't know if it's I don't know if it's seating wrong, but I was also swimming buoyed. Like I was going
right on the line, right?
Right on
Yeah.
the line, pretty much, and that's why I kind of expected that. I was fine with that. I did pass a bunch of people, so who knows why maybe it was people seated themselves or whatever. I think it the swim went as I expected it for that day, but I could definitely think I could do swim a little bit faster in the future. But yeah, it was good.
And your swim time?
What was your swim
I
time?
think it was 41.
I had these all pulled up.
Uh-huh.
So my swim.
Ooh, there's a
I mean,
dun dun dun.
So my whole thing for this one is I didn't want to have a panic attack. So I went in it kind of like stay under control, don't go out too hard. Water temperature should be fine. That it's not going to happen. So Rich and I corralled together. What did we go in the
35 to 40.
I think it was 35, 37.
Okay.
But that's not my speed. My goal was actually to go hopefully 40 or maybe like slightly under. So I was like, yeah, I'll go in here and then let's see what happens. So I went out and I think the first 500 yards felt pretty good. And then I was like, maybe I'm going too fast. Like, I don't know. Like maybe I need to back it off a little bit.
Did you feel like you were in the wrong corral? Like, did you feel like,
No. So it was, everyone was kind of moving in the same kind of amount. Definitely a lot of contact though. Like someone was like on my feet the whole time, and then I got swum across, like not over, but like across my body. Then I was like, wait, where am I going? Like, am I going
You're the one that's
the wrong way?
Yeah. Somebody's going the wrong way.
Yeah.
There was like, I think
There's a lot of that to deal with.
I did find, I think I found someone and I was on their hip for a little while and I was, following them. But then I started to get that feeling like, I was like, is this the panic? Because I didn't know if I was either heart rate too high or something. So I was like, I had to just take a breath and I stopped. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to be fine. I did a little breaststroke and I was able to put my face in the water and keep going. But I was like, all right, let me just, ease back from at that point. And so I started easing up. And then I think that's when I started noticing some more people passing me in that second 500, I think. And so I started just that 500, I was so like anxious. I don't know why, because I was just waiting for something bad to happen, I think. And then I started like,
It's a great mindset to go
I
into a
know.
race.
You
I
think
kept
about
feeling-
so much.
I started feeling like I was going to throw up and vomit. And I was
my
like,
God.
so then
It's
I was
always
like,
fun in the water.
I was just like, could I throw up in the water? Like, what would happen? Like,
The fish
can.
would love it.
Yeah.
I was just
the
like,
people around you would.
are they going to pull me out, or like, can I even physically, like, can I still tread water and throw? Like, I didn't know how. I was trying to work out in my head how I was going to do this.
Oh my God.
But then eventually, like, the feeling went away. But I was like nervous. So then I was like, I think I slowed down even more because I was like, all right, don't get to that point where you feel like you're going to vomit.
The
But
people behind you. Could you imagine if you
I
swam
would
through?
kill somebody.
that's why I felt bad too. I was like, I don't want to vomit. And then everyone's going to be like, what? Like,
So
Like-
I think you do too much thinking while you're swimming.
I think so too.
I also realized like, oh, like I had left transition not really planning like what I was going to do next. I was like trying to think about that kind of stuff. I was like, I was in the water. That's when I finally calmed down. Like the last 500, I was like, all right, what am I going to do when I get off this bike?
Mm-hmm.
And then I need to do this. I need to do this. And took my mind off of stuff. But I did try the full sleeve suit. I don't know if I'm going to do it because my form just felt so weird. I couldn't reach. I couldn't pull all the way through.
Well, you could. It just requires a bunch of more effort.
Yeah, it just didn't.
and you didn't use it very much before.
No, I used it one time before, but
Yeah.
it felt good sort of good on that one. Actually, you know what? It felt good after a mile
when you were done.
I needed to do a second loop most likely. But the weird thing too was my hamstring started cramping in the water. I don't know why, and I think I had an arch cramp on my left foot. So I don't know what would make me. I was barely
Stress.
kicking.
Well, I think it's because we warmed up. And then we got hit cold water. We warmed up swimming also. Yeah.
We did a warm up swim that morning. So I did everything. I was like, all right, this time I'm going to do things differently. But yeah, it's like the hamstring thing started to bother me. So if you see my pictures coming out of the water, I don't look happy at all. Like I'm just like upset looking.
Sounds like a very stressful situation.
my legs were cramping coming out of the water. I was like, oh, like this is not good. And then that's why I didn't want to use the wetsuit strippers because I was worried that if they pull it, what if they like?
Oh, they're gonna have those at Muscleman too. Doesn't it take more time to lay down on the ground, have someone take it off,
They were
than have
so
to get
fast.
up? Yeah, but it
I saw them
takes
try to
me-
rip it off as people were standing, and that's why I decided not to do it. Like the person hadn't even laid down. I think they were just going to flip him out of that suit. They just started like yanking on them. Like, I'm not going to do that.
If I gotta get down on the ground, then get back up, I don't know.
Once you're down, you're down. Like I'm good
After
here.
hearing Koichi's experience, it was faster because I ended up having I tried to do the step out.
Yeah,
and pull-
that's what I did.
And then it got stuck at my feet because I
Yeah.
forgot to body glide the outside of my wetsuit.
Yeah.
So I had to end up sitting down and pulling it off. But
Did you use them?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't use them.
But my swim was like a 45 something. I was like, oh, I was hoping for a 40. Even when I got out of the water, I was like, I think I did a 40. It feels like maybe it was a 40, and it was not a 40.
Okay.
It's all right, working towards it. So
Yeah,
what's next? How'd transition go? Well, you had trouble with your wetsuit.
yeah. Greg was pretty quick.
I know. You
Yeah, my
and John were
transition
like
was quick.
2 minutes something. That's
Yeah.
quick.
Yep. It was fine. Smooth.
Did you
I
wear
gotta
socks for the
work-
bike?
I didn't wear socks for anything, and we'll get to that
Really?
later. Yeah.
Oh.
I want to work on like my flying mount
Mhm.
because I can do the dismount with, coming in, but I haven't ever played around with doing the mounting my shoes with rubber bands and stuff. I think I could save some time there. Get a little bit quicker.
You're totally thinking comfortable sliding into the shoe while
think-
riding, right?
Yeah, I think so. I have to play around. I have to try it out.
Yeah, me
Play
too.
around with it.
Can I just say something I saw? Totally unrelated, but it was so cool. This guy, a cyclist, he does a flying like dismount, keeps running. Somebody grabs his bike, runs, grabs another bike, and like does a flying mount onto that bike and goes. It was insane.
For what purpose did he switch bikes?
He was in a race and somebody happened
was
to
that
his
on
bike.
chain?
So that's cyclocross.
Oh.
Yeah, in cyclocross you're allowed to do bike changes. You have a
No,
bike.
I think it was on some cycling race. I don't
Was
know.
in the Tour
Well,
de
that's-
France?
I don't know if it was in the Tour de France or some
maybe it
other
was
one
Tour.
because his bike broke down and like.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he like flies off it. Someone grabs it. There's another guy handing him his other bike. And
so in the Giro this year, the day before the last stage, there was a time trial, and it was the first half was flat and the second half was uphill. So guys, they set up a special area. You ride a time trial bike to the halfway point, and then you switch to a climbing bike
Maybe
for
that
the
was
second
it.
half. And like there were some guys who really
it was
just nailed
crazy.
it. Yeah. But you
Alright,
see that
sorry.
in cyclocross because they have two or three bikes, and they'll have a pit crew, and they'll come in with a dirty bike.
Yeah, because
Their pit crew will hand them their clean bike, and then they'll jump on that.
Like
and
he
then,
didn't stop for a second.
Yeah.
Like
That's cool.
it was
kinda neat.
insane. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Continue.
No, that's fine. Yeah, so transition for me went fine. Jumped on the bike and got going. Are we going to go through transition for everybody here?
We don't have to.
Mine, didn't have anything interesting. The transition was pretty big, so I had almost no running out of transition
Right.
where I was set up, but I had a lot of running with my shoes in transition when I came back. But the transition itself was fine. Wetsuit being on the end was really cool. Wetsuit came off super quick,
Mhm.
shoes, helmet, and
All right,
right out.
Right.
Yeah, that was fine.
I was faster than Muscle Man. I think I might transition by at least like a minute or something. So
nice.
it got a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was uneventful.
Yeah.
I didn't forget anything this time. I think last time I forgot some gels, but this time
Shouldn't
no.
they already be on your bike?
I think I think I had some on the bike, and then I was supposed to take 3 and put it in my kit last year.
Oh, you put it in your kit under the wetsuit.
But this year, I just put everything inside a torpedo,
Oh,
so I didn't have to take anything.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, bike.
Bike was fast.
Ooh.
Everybody had a good bike.
Yeah.
It was a fast bike course. We headed out. We had a headwind. We were going through kind of like neighborhood, making a couple of turns and stuff like that. You couldn't get into a rhythm. I felt like for the first like 4 miles or so.
Whatever that section, I was going to say 7-8 miles, right? Whatever that section is until you got that big
Yeah.
loopish thing.
Yeah.
And that's when
It was
good.
almost 10 miles to the start of the loop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't get in a rhythm for the first 4 or 5 miles, and then we had a headwind, and like that made me start thinking, because like I have a number in my head, like I know my goal was to go under 230, and like so 230 is 22.4 miles an hour, and so like I always kind of wanted to look down and see that, and when I looked and saw the power I was pushing and my speed, which was more like 21.7, 21.8, I'm like, well, there's got to be a headwind.
Yep.
Like you couldn't really feel it. It wasn't like really blowing, but I knew what direction the wind was supposed to be going. I knew we were heading into that for the first 25 miles of the bike. So I was just like, okay, keep going at this power, keep your, things where they're at. It took a little while for my heart rate to come down from transition, but then like you got into a rhythm, started moving pretty good. It was, and then you turn with the wind at your back, and it's just so fast.
So nice.
Yeah. It was good. I mean, I don't know. It was a pretty uneventful bike for me. I felt good on the bike. I felt like I was putting down the power I wanted to, able to hold it where I needed to. A couple of times I got like a passing thing with people. Like you'd go, because you're going so fast, it's like, and by that point in the race, like you're kind of with the people that you're going to ride with most of the time. So like you're not going so much faster than anybody. So it's like you got to put in a little bit of a surge to get past. And then if you don't keep it there, then they're going to want to pass you. And so there was a little bit of leapfrogging for me, at least.
Yeah.
But
so the aid stations were 15, 30, 45. Tell us what you did at the aid stations.
So my biggest concern for this whole race was the heat. Like that was I knew it wasn't going to be super windy. I was very worried about the heat. So my goal was to stay as cool as possible throughout the whole thing, pre-cool if I could, like even if I don't feel warm, like douse myself in water. So I had all the stuff I really needed on the bike. I had a bottle behind with 1,000 calories worth of gels in it. I had a 1 liter bottle in between my arms with 1,500 milligrams of sodium in it. And my goal was every aid station, I'm going to grab a water bottle. I'm going to drink as much as I can in like 1 or 2 squeezes of that water. And then I'm going to douse myself with the rest of it by the end of the aid station. Then I'll chuck it right there. I'm not going to carry that water bottle with me. So that worked pretty good. First aid station, no problem. I think the woman was a little bit surprised at how fast I came through. but like I pointed at her. I'm like, I'm coming for that one. Took the bottle like forcefully. She was good. She had it on her hand. She wasn't like holding
nice.
it.
Yeah.
Sometimes if they hold it with their hand on the back side of the bottle, like it's
It's
not
not
gonna
gonna
be
work.
easy. Like you could hold it this way and it'll be, or just put it on your hand and
Oh,
whatever.
She's a pro.
So it was good handoff. Second one was great. I come up and I take it from the first person, but as I grabbed it, I squeezed water because I hit it so hard, and I squirted the second person in line got a face full of water. Third one, the woman in front of me, who had to be one of the top women because I came out of transition with the top female runner. This woman missed 6 bottles.
Oh my God.
the first 3 water bottles. So it's water, Gatorade, other stuff, water. She knocks 3 bottles off the hands of the first 3 people. And I'm like, oh. And at this point, I'm almost like I should be passing her. And I'm like, I'll wait till after transition, which is a stupid move, I guess, hindsight, right? Then she knocks 2 or 3 more. Or she knocks 3 more off. Luckily, I'm behind her, and one person had 2 bottles in their hands, so was able to.
That messes it up for the people behind her.
Everybody, right? So I'm watching these bottles.
Strategic move.
And I'm like, she's going for another one. Oh, no, she's going for another one. Oh, no, she's going for another one. So luckily, the person had 2 and was able to quickly get me one, and I was able to grab it. I felt bad for her. So like I took a really big squirt and drank it, and then I handed her that bottle. But even that was like I was like, listen,
grab it.
I was like, just let me get a sip. I'll give you this bottle. And she's like, oh, okay, thank you. So I'm like, with this, I'm holding on. I'm trying to see where I'm going. And she's like, I don't know if this is going to work. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, just take the bottle.
Take it.
I don't know if she's right-handed, and she reached across her body with her right hand.
In arrow?
No, she's held it on the bullhorn.
She couldn't let go with her left.
Let go with and grab with her left. So like, it was just.
I could see this going
Imagine she
so
took
wrong.
it out.
In my head, there's so many things. Like that's
I
not,
was.
you don't
I had
do
my
it.
arm out. She wasn't
Good
going
thing
to
you got
hit
long
me.
arms.
Yeah.
She wasn't going to hit me, but I was a little bit worried about her going down.
Yeah.
But she said thank you, and then so transition or feed zones went good. I hit my number. I wanted to go under 230. I came in at like 227, I think 226. It's just under 23 mile an hour average. I made the conscious decision to dial my power back. I was going to try and hold like 220, 225. Right off the bat, my heart rate was elevated at the beginning. So I went back and ended up hitting like 215. Heart rate was 157, which is exactly where I thought it, 155 to 160 was my goal. Went fast. I felt like I was holding aero real well. I was trying to work on like my shoulder shrug and stuff like that. And, so it was a good ride. I was happy with it.
I'm going to repeat a lot of the things Greg said, except for the power and the speed. But the prequel is that I was really worried about the heat because I had run the week before in the middle of the day for the heat, and I felt horrible. And
it got up to like 85 almost, right?
I think it was 88 on the run when I was finishing up, and they said the real
last
feel.
week or
on this weekend? No, the weekend at the race.
Okay.
Yeah, and then and then the real feel was over 95.
Yeah, I looked and it was like almost 85. And I was like, oh boy, that's why everyone's slowing down at the end.
Yep.
So that was my prequel, and I told Greg before the race, I said there's plan A and plan B, and I think, with the heat, plan B becomes plan A. So, I headed out on the bike and felt really good. With me, I had the same thing that Greg had. I had 1,500 milliliters in a 24 ounce, 1,500 milligrams of salt in 24 ounce behind me. I had 1,000 calories of power, also in a bottle behind me. And then I had the Arrow bottle. Thank you, James. Another 20 ounces of just plain water. Similar strategy. In terms of the aid stations, but okay. So going out, I see that I'm putting out wattage, but I'm not going. So we're headed into headwinds. I'm like, okay, I'm really worried about the run, and so it's getting hotter and hotter. So I'm dialing back the speed, and I think this is what I'm going to hold. And if I can hold this speed, I'm going to come under 3, which is what I want. First aid station comes around, and for me, when I was going through it, I'm with a big crowd. It was a ish show. It was a mess, and I'm like, I'm not getting into this because I could see things going wrong really quick, and I don't need it to. So I just stood to the left side of the road. Transition was on the right, and I just went through it. Didn't bother me at all. So same headwind still coming out, going through it. 30 miles hits, and we're into the second aid station, and that was a little bit more calm, I guess. Didn't really get past a lot on the bike. Maybe kind of stayed with the same group. Once you get into this rhythm, grabbed the bottle and did the spray and drank and just kept it in my shirt, in my jersey. And then I was very lucky because we had, not only did we have a tailwind, we had James caught up to me, which was awesome. And we were like, hey, nice. And it was great to see. And then we leapfrogged the rest of the time up, and we just kind of not hung out, but it was just nice. And I knew that I wasn't going. And then, so when we caught that tailwind, I started seeing those numbers, those 23s. And I'm like, okay, so the first half didn't go as fast, but now I'm exactly at the numbers I want to be with the power I want it to be. So in terms of normalized power, when I got off the bike, and I went through the third station. I don't think I grabbed anything because I had the water with me. And when I got off the bike, I knew that I got under 3 and I was fine with that. But I knew that I wasn't putting out as much power as if it was a cold day, because I knew I was going to hit a hot run and I knew I was going to be out there for a very long time. And that's exactly what happened. I hit a really hot run.
We're not on the run.
We're
yet.
not there yet, but yeah. So the bike was exactly as I planned it. And the best thing was hitting James, catching up to me, and we kind of hung out, and it was fun for the 28, 30 miles we did on the way back.
Good amount. So yeah, it was definitely a different mentality than Muscle Man, because I know what overbiking feels like. So I went into very conservative. I was thinking if I go 18 and change, it's a 3-hour bike, right? I think that's the math. So Greg was like, yeah, if you do 19, you'll be under. So I was like, yeah, we'll see. Like if I do, as long as I'm on 3 hours, in my head, I was thinking I could do, like a 40-minute swim, 3-hour bike, maybe 2-hour run. And then with transitions, I can get under. So that's how I kind of worked out the math in my head. So I was just thinking, as long as I hit that 18, I'll be fine. And then I'm pedaling, and I'm like, man, I was like, I'm going like 20 whatever, and the wattage was only like 130. My heart rate was at like 119. I was like, I really wanted to push. But then I was like, I don't know how that's going to play out later.
Right.
So I was just kind of holding that. And then, I saw Michelle at one point. I passed her, said hi. And then a little bit later, I see Rich, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh, like, should I do what I did last year? Or I'll just like surge and be like, Rich. But then like, I yelled out to him, but then I just like stayed with him. I was like, you know what? Like I should, if he's going this pace, I should go this pace. Like I shouldn't go any faster. So that's what we did. And we just, like I took full advantage this time of, like Greg had said, you have 25 seconds to pass someone.
Yeah.
And I was always scared of like getting a drafting violation. But this time I would just basically hang on people for the 20 seconds and then pass them in the last 5 versus just surging. Because then a lot of times you pass someone and they just pass you right back, and then you just wasted all this energy. So, yes, conserved my energy a ton.
And we didn't get passed on the second half of the course. We maybe one person at most. I don't think so.
We got in really I've never been in aero for that long. Like just in aero the entire.
It's
only
nice
time
to
I
have
got
roads
out
like that are nice.
and it was just like so flat. So the only time I got out was turns, aid station. There were a couple spots marked rough road.
There was a couple spots. One spot that was marked. What did it say on the sign where you had to get out of arrow?
It said no arrow.
No arrow.
Okay.
Yeah,
no arrow starts here. So that was the worst sign. It said no arrow zone starts here or something. And then there was no sign that says like you could start
you
back.
can go back.
So then I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm thinking I have to stay up like on the bars for the rest of there's still like 5 or 6 miles left maybe.
Yeah.
I was like, are we not allowed to be an arrow?
And why couldn't you be an arrow?
It was just a tight turn.
There's one tight turn, but they should have put another sign that says return.
As I went through that, like we still had a tailwind at that point. Once we hit the tailwind, I don't think I saw less than 24.5 miles an hour. So like I was coming into that turn flying, and I had like my hands on the bullhorns, and I was like crouched down as low as I possibly could. Like took the turn fast, and I was like, I'm going right back in arrow. This is
So you said you've never been in arrow that long. How did that feel?
It felt so the first, I don't know, 30 minutes of the race, I was like in pain. I was like, I don't know if I could do this. But eventually it just settled in, and I was just in it the whole time. I was so comfortable.
Nice.
I felt super, super small. I was like trying to get nice and, nice back angle, head angle. I was like using my hands like a praying mantis, like trying different things. Cause like it was such a calm ride. It was like you didn't have to think. It was just.
Yeah.
I don't want people thinking it was a calm ride. We were doing 23 on the last 30 miles.
It just got in rhythm. It was nice.
But it was a nice rhythm. We saw a guy pee. We talked about it.
I just saw something shoot out, like, and then he like took out his water bottle, and then Rich passed him during that part, and then that guy like aggressively like cut across Rich afterwards. I was like, whoa, that's weird. Like you're peeing, like you're slowing down. Like we're gonna pass you.
We gotta stay behind you while you're peeing.
Like, especially while you're peeing. Like we don't know when you can do that again.
Yeah.
But the night. So we got home the day after. So a Monday night, I started getting this pain on my left side of my chest. I'm like, oh man, am I getting a heart attack now? And then like I couldn't breathe in. Every time I breathe in, I would get this like sharp pain. And so I would like trying to yawn or sneeze, and it would stop in the middle because it was such a sharp pain. But then I figured out if like I moved my arm, it was fine. So I actually pulled something like from being like tucked like this. Like I couldn't even sleep.
But looking at him,
Is
he
that
was
why
so
you were on
arrow.
the table today?
Hmm?
Is that why you were on the table?
Oh no,
today?
my back is
Oh.
all like sore from I think just sitting so much.
Okay.
The car ride, I don't do well. But yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out
It's
like
interesting.
yeah.
And it's hard around here. Like there's nowhere you can go to spend
That much
that kind of time in
Yeah.
the bars
Yeah.
and not have to come out and
He looked super arrow though. Everything about him was arrow.
I even saw like wrinkles on my sleeve, and then I thought
not
I,
on the new kit.
So I was like pulling down my arm sleeves, like trying to make sure everything.
Yeah.
Shaved my legs the night before. I cut my ankle so badly.
Oh.
It was
he even
bleeding.
shaved his arms.
Yeah,
Oh, look at you.
but it was bleeding so much. Like the towels, I ruined a bunch of towels in the
Oh
hotel.
my God.
Yeah, it was a lot of blood. Yeah, not a good idea. But yeah, it was a solid ride.
Yeah. And so would you guys come in at time wise on the bike? You remember?
253, I want to say.
Okay. And you
So-
were like,
At the time, I didn't know what my bike was, but it was a 245, I think, or something.
Nice.
nice.
Yeah,
So faster than Muscle Man with less power.
much less power. So
Yeah.
my
And was it faster than AC too?
Yeah.
I forgot to look at AC, and I didn't have a power meter back then. But Muscle Man, I was like
really?
a 150 average, and this was only 130.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean,
Crazy.
that's really fast for that kind of power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And we got a sense of that the day before when we were like on those
Mhm.
country roads. It's just
Yeah.
like, I'm like one, like he said, I'm like 120 going 20 miles an hour. When does
Oh
that
my
ever
God.
happen in
Right.
Jersey?
So fun.
So yeah, I always saw like flat. Like people would say, "Don't be careful flat," because you have to pedal
Pedaling the whole
constantly.
time, yeah.
But really, you can make it as hard or as easy you want because there's really no
Mhm.
there's no incline at all.
yeah, I felt like it was very easy to dial it back 5 watts. You
Yeah.
know, like you can't do that on a rolling course.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, great bike course. Long run into T2. I felt like you had to go through down like a chute and all the way or halfway around transition with your bike. I almost dumped the bike when I jumped off of it. Like it got away from me and I like hit a cone, got it under the ladies like, whoa,
It's like,
was surprised a little bit. And then ran.
do you have to re-rack your bike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I just
what
wanted-
are
is
you
that
gonna
part
do
of the
with
roll?
it? Just throw
Just
it on
throw
the
it?
side?
Yeah, can you like you say
Chuck
you
it.
dump it like if you trip up with it, just leave it there and get it later.
No,
Unless
You
somebody
have
else
to.
gets it
Yeah.
before
Do
you
you-
get back.
Do you DQ though if you don't re-rack it?
probably.
Mm.
Yeah.
Probably
Okay.
If they like do a official in transition.
Well, if you throw it off the
My
side,
numbers on it, like they're gonna know
Why would
it's
you
my
do
bike.
that to your very expensive
I
bike?
wouldn't.
Cass.
I'm just
Save.
saying, like, would you DQ? Meaning, like, would they DQ you? Is only if there's an official in transition. But if not, then
oh, and there was I forgot there was I remember when we had talked about the marshals or whatever, and then like and Richard said they're usually on a motorcycle. Towards the end, someone's passing me, and luckily I just let them just go. I'm not even thinking, and then I hear a motorcycle, and it's 2 marshals on one bike, and they like hung with us for a while,
To
and they were
watch.
just
because we were
watching
going
this
so
group.
fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, oh man, I almost got a drafting
Uh-huh.
violation by accident. So luckily I was paying attention to the sound and whatever.
Yeah, I saw them changing vests. They were stopped, and I'm like, they're gonna catch us in a little while. So I kind of,
Were you
Yeah.
guys like staying apart when you guys were together? Or were
For the
you running
most part.
together?
No.
yeah, for the most part. Well, I don't know about him, but when he would pass me, I would let.
Well, every
let
time he
him-
would like move away from him, like, hey, I want to talk to him. So I'd come right back up to him, like, yeah, just talk, like side by side.
Yeah, we hung out side by side for a little while sometimes. That
Seriously?
happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like miles.
Loud.
No, but like we would exchange. I'm like, did you see that guy pee? Did you see?
And then we'd like leapfrog, but then
Yeah, we'd leapfrog. for
then
a
he'd get
while.
far away from him. Like, hey, I can't talk to him anymore. So I catch up to him again.
Right. Yeah, it was fun. It actually made it so much better.
Yeah.
And then we jump out of T2. Nobody had any issues in T2, right?
Well, that's when. So for Marilyn's sake, from her last race, that's when I peed. I was right next to porta potties. I
Oh, you went in there?
transitioned, peed, and then went out.
Oh, a strategic spot.
Before the run, huh?
I peed at the first aid station
On
It
the
was-
run?
on the run.
I
Well-
felt like I had to pee off the bike, and then I forgot about it.
Mm.
Didn't have to pee the rest of the race.
It wasn't that bad then, because let me tell you, arrow and having to pee is bad.
Yeah, I was there and it was open, so I was like, I'm right here. So
I did
Yeah.
pee in the water though.
Good for you.
Did you guys?
No.
No.
Don't you always?
Of
Yeah,
course.
it's like 300 yards
I don't know
left.
how you do that.
How do you not?
I don't know how.
It's always hard to get
I don't ever
started,
need
but
to.
it's always hard to get
Maybe that's
started,
it.
and then I'm always amazed by how much comes out. I'm like, whoa, it's not like you can't start,
Good to
and then
know.
it just keeps going. You're like, oh,
It's That's why I try not to swim next to him.
Yeah, if anyone, whoever's behind me,
Now that I know he's going to throw up,
Right,
I'm
now
definitely
he
not.
might throw up. Now
Between
it's a
the
whole
vomit
nother
and the pee,
level.
it's just a mess behind James.
Yeah.
God.
It's better in the water then.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure.
Yeah.
You-
For you,
rather than
maybe.
getting sprayed with vomit on the bike by someone in front of you. Like, what the hell? That wasn't pee.
If you're vomiting on the bike, though, you're going pretty hard.
Gross.
Yeah.
Or you
Or you're
ate too much.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I felt the heat coming on the bike. There was no shade. We had like one quarter mile like stretch with like trees on both sides, but otherwise it was pan
Yeah, it was
flat
wide
and you
open.
were totally
It
exposed.
was all sun.
I
Awesome.
didn't realize the heat until we got on the run. And then it hit me quick. And it was like,
Like a punch in the face.
yeah.
That
so
first quarter mile on the run, was it downhill?
don't know. Everybody had it
super
fast.
fast. All you guys popped up and I was like, oh no.
yeah, no,
And then-
I
and
think
then
they
you
might
guys
have
all
had
Could
the,
have had the
back.
timing chips wrong.
they
That's
could
what I
have had the
thought.
distance wrong
Yeah.
on
I don't
where
know.
it was on
It
the
was
course.
like
Because I saw that
crazy
too.
fast for everybody.
Yeah, it had me at like 740 something.
Yeah,
Like I was not running that. I came out of T2, kind of got in my rhythm. And once we got out like along the water there, that first stretch, I kind of settled into at that point what I thought was a good pace, right around like 9-minute pace. Got to that first, like I started and I was like, oh, it is going to be hot. Like this isn't something I'm going to be able to fake my way through. Felt good, but they didn't have the ice out at that first aid station, or they had it like they weren't calling it out. They weren't like ice is over there, ice is, so like nobody was sitting there with cups of ice yet. So I didn't get ice until the second aid station. So that first like 2 miles, I definitely started heating up. By the time I got to the second aid station, which was I think just under 2 miles, I filled my hat up with ice, put it on. And from that point on, I was able to manage the heat really well. Like every aid station was ice, water over my head, holding ice if I could.
Do you want to thank that girl that was spraying everybody, or you didn't?
I got that once.
I got it.
Yeah.
That's great.
They were
Thank
like
you.
hosing you down.
People on their front lawn had a hose out.
nice.
Yeah.
There
It's clutch.
were 2 people, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I got one of them once.
Every time.
That didn't help as much as the ice. The ice was good. So I felt like I definitely dialed. My goal was to run like right around 9:10 pace, which would have been right around 2 hours. Quickly, I realized like after the first, so it was like a 3.25 mile out and back. We did twice. So after the first 3.25, I realized that was probably a little too fast for the heat. I think if it was a good temperature, I think that was the right pace for me. Dialed it back and it was running like 9:40, 10-minute. Kind of most of the time I looked down at my watch, or with the walk breaks, it was kind of averaging out around there. I was seeing like 9:40 on my watch, and felt pretty good for the first 7 miles or so. My knees started to get tight at that halfway point, and then the last 3 miles absolutely sucked. My IT band flared up on both legs a little. The right leg flared up a little bit. The left leg flared up a lot, and I was pretty much hobbled at that point and was shuffling and walking most of the way back. So
I saw you at that turnaround and I could see it on your face. Like,
yeah,
I think you were trying to be supportive for me,
yeah.
but I could tell like you were going through some struggle.
Yeah, and
at that point.
It wasn't, and I'm glad it wasn't like a mental struggle. It wasn't like, oh, this is too hard. Like it was just like, how much pain can I deal with? And up until like 2.5 miles to go, I was dealing with the pain because I've had this before, so I knew exactly what it was. I knew I wasn't like doing any kind of permanent damage to myself. I'm like, it's just a matter of can you deal with pain for a little while. I was still like, my goal was to come in under 5:15, and I was like, in my head, I'm doing the math. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can still do that. And then as I was taking a walk break, when I started running again, the knee buckled. And like every time I changed any kind of pace, it would buckle, and it wouldn't like, I couldn't hold myself up while I was running. So at that point I was pretty much reduced to walking, which mentally just like kicked me in the balls because it was one of those, like, I felt good. I wasn't too hot. I wasn't out of energy. I didn't have any tummy issues. Like I was doing exactly what I had planned to do. And then it's like, man, the IT band had different ideas. So shuffled my way in, still came in with, I think I was 520, just over 520, 520, or something like that, 520, 40. I think I could have been 510 if I had been able to run, but it's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So
Still very good.
I was happy with it. It was best time by 15 minutes or so. Felt much better until that last 3 miles.
So did you wear socks on the run?
I didn't. So the story, I forgot my socks. I forgot.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I forgot to pack socks in my race bag. I had them in my bag at the hotel. I don't know why I didn't just put them in my race bag when I was packed at home before we even left. So I got there and I'm like, well, I mean, I've run without socks. I run without socks probably once or twice a week just to toughen up my feet. The unknown was how much water I poured on myself, that it all drained down in my shoes. And I was literally just I could feel it within 2 miles. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to want to see what my feet look like at the end of this. But that was another, just deal with the pain. You can't change anything.
So you had no idea how bad it was. You never peeked during.
No, I wasn't taking my shoes off till we finished.
I wish we had a
you
picture.
can't.
We should have taken a picture. I don't know what it looks now, but
They look
he
fine
had
now.
significant blisters on
You
both
wanted-
feet.
I'm sure.
Picture of it?
Because the water softens your skin.
Right. So it was basically from the ball of my foot to the heel of my foot were 3 blisters that took up
Oh
most of
my
that space
Like-
on both feet.
Like this big.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Full sack of
Yeah.
whatever fluid is
Fluid.
inside there. You could have hydrated off of those if you needed to.
Oh
It didn't
my-
they didn't pop though,
Yeah.
So and it was just, can you deal with it? And I did. So there were little battles that I won with myself, which was good. It didn't slow me. They didn't slow me down.
Mm.
So it was just the knee at the end, which is, it could have been worse if it happened earlier. So
Yeah.
That was some
True.
good mental resiliency.
Mhm.
there was. I was thinking of you guys and all your tricks and stuff like that. I had one guy I caught up to who looked much fitter than me, but he was in a struggle bus just like me. And I came up and he walked up next to me and was like, "Let's go, let's finish this.
Aw,
You
that's
run,
so
I run."
nice.
And I was like, "All right, let's go." And I dropped him within. he couldn't run anymore.
We're not that fast.
Yeah. But then we actually I had to take a longer walk break in the middle of the way back, right by that first aid station, and he must have caught up to me because when I looked at the pictures afterwards, he was right behind me in the finishing chute.
So he was
he got
locked in
there.
on you.
Yeah, he was.
You didn't, because you still ran a little bit at the end. Because
Yeah.
the time wasn't
Right,
You weren't fully walking.
No,
So
I
that's
I
good.
think I was averaging at that last 2-3 miles 12-minute miles. So I was. When I was running, I was still running at that 10-minute pace. It was just
Not for the whole
painful
time.
and not for very long. So that's my story.
Well
Still
done.
Still a
though.
good outcome, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good day. I was way more down on myself the day of and the day after
Mhm.
than I probably should have been. But I've gotten over it.
The 24 hours, 48 hours.
Yeah.
You getting that back?
That's all you get to
Greg
be
threw his
mopey,
bike.
and then
Right.
it's time to move on.
Greg threw his bike into the bay. He's like, screw this.
How did nutrition go?
Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
I took in 1,000 calories on the bike. Every 20 minutes, I took a big gulp of my water bottle. I finished with a quarter of an inch of stuff left. So maybe 950 calories, which is 110, 115 grams an hour. When I got on the run, it was so hot that I didn't want to take in my gels. So I just did liquid nutrition from the course, Gatorade and Coke.
Pepsi.
Pepsi, right? They didn't have
Something
Coke.
They had
switched.
Pepsi?
They had
They had
Pepsi.
Pepsi.
Oh.
It's the best
It's
Pepsi I've ever had in my
sweeter.
life, though.
Mhm.
It was
Yeah,
a
it
little
is.
sweeter. You're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, never felt that was the kick in the balls on that last couple miles.
You had 2 kicks, huh?
Yeah,
I
I got
know.
kicked hard.
Jeez.
There's always a lot of, Greg will say, balls out, kicking the balls. A lot of ball references. Balls of your feet.
So I felt at the end when I'm walking, I felt strong still. And that is a good thing, but it's
Yeah.
also a frustrating thing because it's I didn't get to leave all my fitness out there.
Mm.
So I definitely fueled well.
Good stuff.
So I left it all out there. I was worried about how hot it was going to be, and it was exactly did the best I could under that heat. Yeah, so I got out on the run and was the plan was to walk the aid stations, use my own nutrition for probably about 10 miles and then leave it up to chance whatever the last 3 miles were going to bring in terms of like needing stuff, cola or Morton's, whatever they had there, Gatorade. I started doing ice right away, put it in my hat, threw it down my shirt, was holding it, doing the palm thing. That was good. And the best thing was, and when I got out on the run, was like, we've been doing our long runs and I can get through this with our long runs. That was the best prep. And I carried me through the whole way. Yeah, so I just kind of executed the same strategy over and over again. I saw my pace be under 10 for the first few miles. And then I was like, okay, I need to dial it back. And so my heart rate was always 160 or higher. And I pretty much did the walks through the aid stations, and I walked a couple other times, just a couple other minutes, just because it was so hot. And then at one point I was like, I need to get my heart rate just at least once all the way down. So I walked until I saw like 145 or something. And then I started running again. So feet felt a little slushy with just constantly pouring water on myself. I would pick up a water at the aid station, put ice in it, drink a little bit, and then pour the rest on myself. Kept doing that, walked through the hoses that the people had out, so kept the cooling strategy going. Started to feel a little bit of the twinge, like a cramp in my right calf in the last maybe 5 miles. I took an anti-cramping thingy that James, thank you for giving me, like 1 mile 6 and mile
Highlands,
8.
Anti-cramp or something.
So they work?
I don't know. But I took them mile 6, mile 8. And so when the cramps started to kick in, I was like, okay, just keep being consistent. Don't think about them. Put them out of your mind. And I was able to pick up the last couple of miles. So last mile I was faster than the previous miles. And then running into the chute, I was faster too. So it was hot. I was out there longer than I wanted to be. It's definitely where I could do most of my improvement. And I was 223 on the run. I don't really compare it to Muscle Man because it says I was 212 at Muscle Man, but I stopped my watch when we hit the train and had that whole kind of break things. But I think I was pretty much on par where I was with Muscle Man, but it's definitely where I could improve the most. And there was no shade anywhere. Like you were just in this pan flat 100-degree heat the whole time.
Where's the run? Was it like on the roads or?
So it was 4 segments, but it was pretty much an out and back twice.
Yep.
So
on like just the road.
Through
Just
neighborhoods.
Neighborhoods.
Yeah, no cars, none, but yeah. Aid stations were amazing. They had baby pools with ice. They had water.
Nice.
They had Gatorade. They had boxes of ice the first one that you didn't get, but they were really great about it, and they were handing them out. And I would call out usually, so that, like I get what I want, and I think it was very well run, very well supported. Like I don't know, I thought it was greatly organized with literally every mile for those aid stations, and came into the chute feeling pretty good, much better than I have at any other time. And I think our long runs on the weekends really supported that, because it was always in my head like, this is what we've done. An extra 20 minutes. Hey, I can shuffle that all day.
Yeah.
So, I was positive about the run. If it wasn't as hot, who knows how much faster I could have gone, but it was, and I did the best for that particular situation, for that moment.
There was one volunteer who was pretty awesome in the aid station. He would take your hat for you and said, "Don't bend down." He's like, "Let me do." He's like, "You hand him your hat. He'd fill it up real full, and then just give it to you." But he was telling everyone, "Don't bend down," because he didn't want anyone to cramp up or anything. And he was wearing like a kit too or something.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal. He was in a kit. I don't know if maybe he like was a DNF and was like, "I'll just help out" or something. But he was like, "Where do you want it?" I saw people come in like holding their kits open.
He's like, "Don't bend down, don't bend down. I'll get it." He's like, "So."
Did you do the slide up the kit? So I had the ice in my kit, and I would slide it up into my armpits, and I would just like hold it
I
and
didn't think about
shovel.
that.
It was so good. It helped. It was so good.
I didn't put any in my kit because it like migrated to areas I was worried about.
That's it. Those are the
balls
areas
again.
that help.
Yeah, those are the good areas.
balls.
I was like, let it go wherever you want it
Those
to
are
go.
the areas that cool you off.
The
So
areas you got kicked?
I didn't put any down the front because our kits like it has that like crop top almost, and it just slides right out. So I put it down the back, and then it's like working its way down your ass crack. And I'm like, I think I'll be okay. And Whatever.
Didn't get
Well,
sucked
you-
up, did it?
It didn't. No, I don't. I think by the time it got there, it melted. But yeah.
I had like the side pockets of the shorts. I put them in there,
Oh,
and
that
they
would've been
stayed
good,
there. It was
the
everywhere.
hat was key.
Yeah.
I don't
I
wear
saw
a full
people-
hat ever because that makes me too hot.
I did for this race just for that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
White
wear a
hat.
visor.
Down
Yep.
the kit.
That's why I wear a white
and
hat.
the ice
Right.
I saw
vest.
people with bags, like they
Even
brought
with a
their
white
own
hat,
Ziplocs.
though.
Mm.
Traps all the heat in there.
For me, it's like since I have dark hair, once if I wear a visor, then the hair just gets so hot from the sun.
Yeah.
I gotta cover
The other
it.
thing I like about the hat is I put all my stuff into it that
Yeah.
I need for the run. So like
Yeah.
my race belt, my gel pack thing. That's really it.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
All that stuff.
You don't need
Not your
that.
socks, though.
See, I
Apparently,
already have my not your socks. I have my gels on me already. I just have to grab my belt.
you're like
my hat.
Batwoman, huh?
So
Like just
I
everything.
grab
Yeah.
the hat and I run
Yeah.
out of transition. And then as I'm running, I can put the stuff on.
Yeah, that's exactly what I
That's
did.
what I do.
Put the
too.
gels in my thing and whatever.
I also clipped the run belt first, but then I grabbed the hat.
I clip the run belt as I'm running.
Mhm.
But yeah, I like the hat. Putting ice in it is, I think, phenomenal. Holding ice was very good though.
Yes.
Yeah, everything like just ice. Period
Ice
was
is
just
good.
great.
Yeah.
Ice
So,
baby.
but I want to get to your
Yeah,
run.
let's get to your
because
run,
I have to
James.
say, I was happy for everyone, but happiest for
I
your
was-
run.
I was
For me?
happy.
Oh, wow.
When I saw your run, I was like, oh, this is amazing.
So yeah, my whole mindset going into was don't blow up in the run.
Mhm.
I didn't want to suffer like last time. So even going into this race, I was like, this is like more of a test of let's get a clean race in,
Yeah.
stay
Feel
under
good.
control. Yeah, feel good. I'm not going to empty the tank, and then at least have like build confidence off of it. So when I got out of the run, out of transition, I made myself a nutrition bottle, electrolytes and calories. I was using the Power Bar ISO Active, really
Mhm.
good flavor. It's like a raspberry pomegranate, so it's a good balance of sweet and sour. Like not like sweet and sour sauce, but sweet and sour, like that.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Tart.
We get
Tart and sweet. And but I was an idiot. I left it out in the sun. Like I brought my mini
Oh.
cooler bag with an ice pack in it, but I was scared that if I had put it in there, I would have forgotten it because I
Right.
don't see it. So I just didn't. But in hindsight, I should have, because when I took it out, it was boiling hot. It was like the
Oh.
worst thing to be
Yeah.
drinking. I was trying to sip on
Yeah.
it as I was going out because I was my plan was like just kind of boost my hydration and electrolytes early on so I wouldn't be at a deficit going up to that first aid station.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was trying to sip it. I just couldn't get, I was starting to get like cramps on my ribs. So I just abandoned that early on. But I remember consciously thinking like, slow down. I was like, I don't need to have the fastest split in the beginning. I think it probably still happened, but I was consciously slowing down. First time I got to the aids, I think I saw Greg too early on. He's like, how do you feel? I was like, my legs feel kind of, and he's just like, keep it under control. And I think it was just that first
Yeah, in
mile
the
off the
beginning,
bike,
it
you're just,
feels-
trying to get used to
feel
it.
Great.
But I was kind of worried it was going to cramp, but I think it turned out to be just your legs just getting used to like the wobbles off the bike. So, made it to the first aid station, and then I remembered all the stuff with ice. So I had ice in my hat. I put ice here, and then my heart rate monitor was able to keep the chunk of ice like over my heart. So I was thinking, well, hopefully that's like circulating colder
Yeah.
blood to me. Then I held ice. Yeah, whatever it says to my.
If it makes you think that,
It
great.
made me think that. I was like, it was like Iron Man, my like power source. Because I had like this huge chunk of ice like right here.
Yeah.
And then I held ice, and then I would also eat the ice as I was holding
Oh.
it. So I was just like,
There's a lot of gross hands
It
going
doesn't
into that
matter.
ice
didn't,
bucket.
I didn't
Who
realize
cares?
that until like later. Like at first I was like, oh, this ice. Like I was like clean. And then later when I saw everyone just like,
yeah,
it's
when,
like,
when that
ugh.
ice guy is like, where do you want it?
yeah,
and you're
yeah.
eating that ice.
And some of it's like rolling down people's kits going back into
Yeah.
the bathtub, and I'm like putting that up. But yeah, so I was chewing on the ice, and it was like, oh, this is hard to do. My teeth were just like so cold. But I was like, I got to cool my inside. So I managed the heat really well. Honestly, I didn't like me. You guys know me in heat. I'm terrible.
right.
I don't think I noticed the heat until like mile 10.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I was just constantly. I didn't drink any of the water on the course. I would just dump it on my head, ice, dump the water, Gatorade, and then just go.
Yeah.
And just having the ice on my chest and my hands and my hat, I was feeling fine. But then once mile 10 hit, I started getting like quick little like twinges in my calves. I was like, oh, this is new, because normally it's my quads and it was my calves. So I'd try to like, I was thinking I want to pick up the pace in that last 5K. And every time I try to go a little bit faster, I would get these random cramps in my calves. So I was like trying to decide, what am I going to do here? I took the pills too. I just emptied the whole pack into my mouth at once. I think it's 2 at a time. I think there's like 6. I just put the whole thing in my mouth, and then I don't know. I don't know if they work or not.
Yeah.
Maybe some people works really well, but I figure it doesn't hurt.
Right.
Yeah.
I just went into like kind of just. It's like, all right, let's see if I can get up to the next aid station, see how I feel. I think by mile 11 or 12, my pace had really slowed down. And at this point, I didn't know what my time was off the bike. I only knew I did 45 minutes on the swim. So then I was like thinking, oh man, I'm not going to break 6. Like, I don't even know how long. I think
it's hard because you didn't look when you stopped.
Yeah. So I'm like, what did I do on the bike? I had no idea. So I was like, But then what I did differently this time was like, I let it go. I was like, if I don't get it under 6 hours, fine. That doesn't matter. It's hot. I just need to have a clean race. And at that point, like my legs aren't blown up. It's just I was like very touch and go. So I was good at like letting go of like stupid goals and staying
just
on
do the best you can.
And just staying to the original goal of like let's have a clean race. So there are multiple times where I feel like I could have gotten out of control, and I just kept remembering just clean race. And then I think when there was a part where when you did the turnaround, like you go to the right for the first lap, and on the left it says finish. And I didn't know like how far from there would be the finish. But I remember,
except you can see the gigantic Ironman archway.
You have a watch
on your watch.
I still wasn't sure.
Okay,
but I was like, I was pumping myself up. I was talking to myself in third person from that trick from Do Hard Things. I was like, James, fucking go now. And then I just go off into this like my first step. I'm ready to like sprint. Like I have so much energy, and then my leg cramps up right away. I'm like, oh, never mind. And then I just go back into like a little jog. I'm like, all right, I can't fully lock up in front of like everybody in this chute. So I just jogged my way back in, nice and steady.
F you, James.
Yeah, I should have pushed myself more.
There was a dude in the chute as I was who was fully locked, like he was hobbled coming down the chute.
And I have to say though, like my cardio felt good the whole time. I never felt like I was tired. I never felt like my heart rate got too high. It was just like the cramps. Like if I pushed too hard, like my mind was willing to go. It was just the cramps that were keeping me from going. So, I mean, I chalk it up to a hot course. When I look back at my nutrition on the bike, I think I fit 10 or 11 hydrogels inside the torpedo. Like I had half of it left. And then my speed, I had a full speed fill with 1500 and a 20-ounce bottle in the back with 1500. I was just figuring with the amount I sweat, I should consume all that. I only drank like 3/4 of the speed fill.
So you probably could have had more nutrition on the bike.
I probably should have, but honestly, it felt like I don't know. I think it was the heat.
Honestly,
I felt
maybe
like I couldn't.
not. Like at that, like if when you look at the power that you get put out, like that might not have really been a limiter.
Yeah, I felt full. Like I was just like, I didn't feel like I could get more in, but I do have to figure out just like how many gulps it takes. So I was doing like 7 gulps on the speed fill and 5.
Take a gel pack and then see how many gulps it takes you to have it.
But the torpedo, I was doing 5 thinking there's less in there, but I left so much inside there. So I was like, I guess I got to do more. So I'll figure that out for Wilmington.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I stayed under control, did what I was supposed to do, and then ended up going 5:45.
Congrats, man.
I know.
That was a great race.
I
was so worried. I was like, as I crossed the finish line, I was out of it. And like John and Jackie were there and they were kind of like following everybody else on the tracker. And I'm like, just tell me James is going to come in under 6. just please tell me James. And they're like, yeah, he's gonna be fine. And then,
but then I started slowing down at the end.
Right. And somebody was that we were sitting there talking with was more worried about your run time. I think they were like, I think they thought I was worried that you weren't going to come in under 2 hours on the run. And like they were saying something and I was still out of it. And like, I'm like, wait, hold on. Wait, he's going to be under 6, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because it wasn't my best. It was a 2:02. I wish I could have gone under 2, but I figure with the heat, they say like 5% is, and I think maybe for me, it's like more like 10%. So I figure it's anywhere from 6 to 12 minutes then off my time, which is, it's right there. So that made sense.
And your overall time was so great.
Yeah. So it was all from the bike. The bike.
This was a course to go fast on.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. This course had no teeth other than wind, which we really didn't have much of, and heat, which we did get on the run. But I think it could have been worse. Like
other people said that other years have been much worse.
Yeah.
So.
But we have to listen to our last episode because I think I predicted a 5:45 for myself.
Did you? I was trying to remember.
Yeah, you did.
I think so.
Did he?
I think you're
I was
right.
trying to remember what you guys predicted, and I couldn't. Of course.
So
Talking to yourself helps.
it does. I put that number out there and
That's
accidentally
it. You
did
got to
it.
put it out into the universe.
That's right. That's
Mhm.
right. So yeah, it was a good weekend.
Nice. Sounds great.
Any takeaways? Things that you're gonna
Yeah.
worry about or think about or focus on for Wilmington? We got 18 weeks before Wilmington.
And Wilmington's is like a similar course, right?
Yeah, I think very similar.
I'm pretty pumped about that.
Yeah.
I have to fix. So I felt like when I was racing this whole race, though, like either like I felt like I was a gambler who had like won, but I'm like, should I push my luck and keep going? And I was like kind of afraid, or like a ticking time bomb. Like how much more? So I want to like get away from that mindset of, feeling like you're gonna just one extra thing is gonna put you over the edge and get more confident in my fitness and my training.
My grandfather wanted to become a professional gambler at one point in his life, and he would always say, like, when you're winning, you gotta bet big. When you're feeling good, you gotta go.
Just go,
let it ride.
And that's the thing. I was feeling good in
How
certain
did he
spots.
He didn't become a
Stop
professional
ruining
gambler.
it. It was good.
But no, I never saw him lose. So
Yeah, because there were a couple times I felt really good, and I was like, I should just let loose.
yeah,
But then I was like, I gotta have
But you
a clean
needed
race.
a good race for your head.
yeah.
Yes, more
So
than anything.
That will pay off more than
Yeah,
having been faster.
yeah. I might go into Wilmington thinking, all right, let's race it, and if I blow up, I blow up
Mm-hmm.
because I know what I can do.
Right.
So if I'm gonna blow up, I'll just go down in flames.
Yeah. You want like a slow smoldering burn. You don't want to go.
Yeah.
You want to be right on that edge if you want to finish and see what you can actually, what's the potential.
Yeah,
But you
It
take
is
that.
scary though.
Yeah.
because
To
it's
like
such a
push,
because there's so much left in the
It's so
race.
long.
Like
Yeah,
you're like
it's such a
you
long
can't,
race.
Yeah, you can't
Right.
like go so early and then be like,
And
kinda-
something you do early on is going to have an effect
Yeah.
3 hours
I don't-
later.
You're not the only one that gets worried about that.
Yeah, I just realized my mindset though was like I was racing in a place of kind of like fear versus confidence,
Mhm.
and so the next one I hope I can just race out of confidence and be like, I did like I'm
Mhm.
ready.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
How about you, Rich? Any take home
Yeah,
ideas?
there's a lot. And that's kind of, I love that. Then I have a lot of things that I can constantly keep on improving. Being in open water, we haven't been in so much before this race. Being in open water over the summer, I think is going to be great. Can do a few minutes better there. We talked a little bit about on the ride back, being more aero on the bike. Cause I think, I was conservative on the power, but even being more aero on the bike and then pushing the power harder can do some more time savings on the bike, and then just keep on working the run, because that's going to be that's been a limiter, and it's going to be a big opener that I can get through. And that, focus on that kind of the prep for the run that we've done so far has been great. Like what we were doing was great. And I think just kind of improving on that and getting faster on the run will go, miles or whatever, go the distance.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
and Greg,
I don't know. Maybe I'll do a flying mount. See how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's I got to swim more, which is going to happen now that schools are finishing up and stuff. I have more time. The knee feels a lot better already. I'll probably start running again next week, nice and slow, and build it back up. And I think I just need. I know what I need to work on technique wise with the run, and I think just time on my feet will improve that. That's just going to take time. It might take a couple of years for me to be like a somewhat competent runner. And I'll just keep hopefully seeing some improvements. It's not going to I'm not going to wake up, in 3 months and be a 140 half marathon runner or anything like that. I think there's a little bit of room to be improved on the bike still. I'm kind of like right on the trajectory I thought I would be and want to be on. So my goal going into Wilmington was, or when I originally kind of sat down and thought about it, was to go under 5. And I still think that that's in the cards,
mm-hmm.
And I can kind of see where that, it's not just like, oh, I want to go under 5. It's like, I can see where those minutes come from. So, yeah, I mean, it was a good race. It was great kind of to start the season. I was really happy that I was able to prove to myself that like I can get ready for a 70.3 in June, you know, which was, you know, it was always something I was like, oh, I want to have the summer to train. I want to be, you know, this was pushing it to June. I think I'd be able to get ready for an early season race if I needed to. So, you know, it was a good experience. I had a lot of fun.
Thank you for all your guidance and coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun trip.
Some of the fun things that we didn't say anything about, like we, the day before, we just like so much food.
Oh my God.
Just,
Probably too much food.
You guys went out to dinner?
That morning.
We stopped
like
at like
snacks.
Walmart and
Yeah.
just
Oh,
like,
is that the mayonnaise
We
picture? I
snacked.
saw?
We snacked a lot that day. We probably should have like spread it out over 2 or 3 days
Yes.
before and like slowly carbo loaded.
I was just like any carb, I was going to eat it.
Yeah.
That morning, I did not want to have what
You
I
know,
was
can I
planning
just
to
say
have.
you shouldn't have too many carbs like the night before.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oof.
It was
This
like the
makes
day
you,
before.
like,
The day before,
Yeah.
like it felt like we just took the like belt off our pants and we let loose. It was just like
Oh, God.
whatever.
Yeah.
We had it so, and then we had whatever we also packed
Right.
to eat, and it was just like, oh, like I woke up race morning, I was like, ooh.
I didn't have quite that same feeling, but there were points the day before that I definitely was like, oh, I probably didn't need that much rice or Twizzlers or Pop-Tarts.
Oh my God.
The family pack.
Yeah, good thing I packed like a nice healthy dinner because that was the only healthy thing I had.
Right.
I had
Yeah,
so many.
same.
I bought double stuffed Oreos,
Oh boy.
Swedish fish, some chips. This is like everything. I was just constantly eating. Like,
Yeah, I think we just didn't shut our mouths that whole day from the afternoon on.
Yeah.
It was, wow.
That's fun though.
It was
was.
fun.
It was a good trip.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And getting there on Friday was also really nice.
Yep.
Going out to dinner.
I like that schedule that we've kind of settled
Yeah.
on. You know, get there 2 days.
2 days is nice.
You know, it's nice.
So Marilyn,
Mm-hmm.
Turn the page.
you got something. We've been talking a lot about ourselves.
Yeah.
You're 9 days out.
Yeah.
How you feeling right now?
Good. I feel really good.
You
Excited.
had some big workouts this last weekend too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I had last weekend a 3.5 hour bike, long run.
So
it's
now taper like
Today was probably
Today
my
was probably your
hardest.
last hard.
Yeah. Today I
hard
had
thing.
a 9-mile run with some race pace in it.
Not
hard.
some race pace. You had a 9-mile run with 7 miles of race pace.
Yeah.
how's your swim feeling?
You know,
It is where it's going to
me
be.
and swimming, we have a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
I took like a week off, and so you make one step forward and then like 10 back, but it's all right.
It's not quite that bad back.
Well, it's a little bit bad, but it's fine.
Okay.
It is what it is.
So
When are you heading out? Like, what's your thing?
So we're leaving Thursday, like late afternoon,
Okay.
driving like about 4 hours, stopping, eating dinner, staying over, and then the next morning getting up early, driving another 4.
So you're doing something
hours.
Thursday morning and then Friday night, right? Some openers, some like, or nothing at all.
Thursday, well, I'll see when we get there. They have a bike at the hotel we're staying at Thursday night, so I could always get on there. I think there's a pool too, so I'll do something quick or a walk. So-
Mhm.
And then Friday, we could swim Friday when we get up there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the swim will be open Friday also, so that'll be nice.
don't forget your passport.
Yes.
Race is when?
Race is Sunday.
Okay.
Mhm.
Saturday,
good.
some openers, check
Mhm.
in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so lots of time. I can't do anything. I'm not going to do anything outdoors because it's hilly. I tried mapping something from our hotel, and it was like every way I went, it was like a quarter mile, like 700 feet elevation. I was like,
Wow.
okay, no.
Yeah, you're at like the bottom of a mountain.
Yeah,
right?
we're
It's
at
all
the
ski
bottom. Like
stuff.
our hotel is at the bottom of a ski mountain, so there's nowhere to go.
Do you want like a dumb trainer, like a Kurt Kinetic or something?
No, there's a gym in the hotel.
Yeah.
So they have a bike, a treadmill. It's fine. I'll figure that out. But yeah, I'm really excited.
Excited.
I heard it's one of the best athlete meals after the race.
Oh, we forgot to talk
we
about
forgot to
that.
talk
Iron
about
Man.
that.
What did you guys
Because
have?
we blocked it out.
What did
It's
you
like,
guys
it's
have?
like a
Because
black hole.
I heard Mont
Ugh.
Tremblant is amazing.
Okay, so this was the only
This is
only downside.
This is the last thing you want. Like, what do you want after a race? This would be
What
like
did
the
they give?
last thing you would
What
put
did
on
they
that
give?
thing.
Cold chicken pasta salad.
No.
Yes.
Chunks of white, like little
Like,
chunks of chicken.
Maybe canned chicken,
It was-
possibly.
it was hard.
Oh my God.
I looked at it
terrible.
and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
this is
Really?
like, I'm not hungry after a race, period.
Yeah.
I almost threw up when I saw what they were shoveling.
That's really sad.
I was
like-
like, could you give me less than that?
They had,
like
they
less.
had one tray of it open, and I saw like 3 other trays, and I asked them, I'm like, are there like burgers under that one? They're like, no, this is just more.
More.
Oh.
more
I said,
chicken
we're
Do
pasta.
you like the vegetarian
No.
option?
I
I'm
said
like,
the same thing, and I went to the other side of the tent because you're like, I'm like, I'll walk over there. It's the same
Oh,
thing.
So what do you
No.
guys get? Like poutine?
I don't know exactly what it is, but I read about it somewhere, and then I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they said like no athlete meal is like the one at Mont Tremblant.
Maybe it's directly related to the elevation on the course.
Maybe.
Maybe
Because Muscle Man was a good, like I was fine
Muscle
with
Man was
barbecue
good. That chicken was
Oh,
delicious.
Thanks.
so good.
It was so good.
Finger
I think
licking good.
They probably look
Yeah.
at total elevation traveled, and then you fall into a bracket
Maybe.
of meal.
Right. 0
Yeah.
feet traveled, you
Yeah,
get.
you get chicken.
I'm pretty sure it's
pasta
basically
salad.
whatever vendors are around that could support that
I
much
think it's
meal.
from one of the restaurants
Right.
in the area supplies it, and it's supposed to be really good.
Yeah.
for Tremont.
I will
Yeah.
let you know.
So, like someone said, they saw on the Facebook Eagleman
Maybe
page.
it's because there's an XC contingent up there at
Maybe.
Tremblant.
Is there?
Those
Really?
people won't.
Won't eat anything
Won't
that's
eat
not
anything.
white
I think they
glove
get a
service and
private
white
dining
Why
tablecloth.
do they get a
Yeah,
lot of
they do.
XC athletes?
Tremont.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Tremblant has an XC,
XC
field.
Oh.
So, like, there will be
Yeah.
a gaggle of them.
Maybe we should pool our money
There's also
together.
a pro field at Tremblant.
Yeah. Mhm.
So-
I don't know who's going to be there though. I haven't
I don't
heard.
know.
But apparently on the Eagleman Facebook page, people were like saying the food was delicious. What's the recipe?
Oh, really? What?
And we're like,
You're on the
that's
wrong
like
Eagleman
fake.
page.
We're like, that's got to be fake reviews.
planted
Like,
reviews.
Yeah.
like either the vendors who made it or Iron Man just trying to make people like
Yeah.
not
no.
say that it was terrible. Because I think the survey came out. I haven't filled it out yet, but I'm gonna just
Oh, I filled it out.
I'm gonna
I
blast
didn't
that
get the
food.
survey.
Yeah,
I might have deleted it.
I mean, I
don't
would have
read my
loved the hot
emails.
dog at least.
Yeah.
Anything.
Hot dog would have been great.
Like this is the
Yeah.
bottom of the list.
Like a
right
I
perfectly
there.
know.
sized hot dog would have been.
What had mayo?
Wonderful.
Was there mayo in it?
I would take mayo on the hot dog. Why not?
No, mayo in the chicken salad.
Oh.
In this chicken salad.
I think
No,
so.
it was like a vinaigrette
Was
or
it?
something.
I didn't-
yeah,
I
like
didn't
a
try it.
dressing.
I
I
did.
saw
I
it and
tasted
I'm
a
like-
few forkfuls. I'm like, I can't.
They had these tubs of extra dressing. Like, do you want extra dressing? Like, it was like these, and like, no, it's
I'll just drink the dressing.
It's like 95 degrees outside. That's exactly what I
Yeah.
the
want.
chips and the cookie hit the spot. And
Even the cookie, I was like,
I didn't want the
the
cookie.
rebranded.
Do you really want something sweet after you've had all those
Right.
gels? No.
no.
I mean, after I had that chicken pasta salad,
It took
I
me
want the
until
chicken from
dinner
Muscle
time
Man.
to really be hungry.
Yeah.
To honestly,
yeah.
And I was hungry.
Yep.
And they oversold the crab cake that they gave me.
did that.
Yeah.
She was very excited for everything on the menu. Was supposedly delicious.
And it was not.
I mean, my
That's
shrimp was
sad.
fine.
It was
Yeah.
fine, but not after like you do a full,
Yeah.
race.
Yeah.
You're
A
like,
full half Ironman.
a full half hour. Like, you know.
So you
Full
got to
on.
make sure you take a lot of pictures and
I
video.
will.
And then, like,
It's
I
supposed to
think
be
we had
really nice.
even considered Tremblant full because of how beautiful it might be.
Yeah.
It's up there. Like when I look at what's available for us in the time frame we're looking for, that race seems appealing.
What really is
It's
key?
supposed
This
to be
is
one
the
of
number.
the most beautiful races.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
what I've heard.
Yeah.
If the temperature
Mhm.
is good, I don't know what time of the year it is.
August.
But it's
Hmm.
north.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We really need to know the elevation. That come
That's true.
back.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you
That's
the
the number.
elevation is going to be for this race around 3,700.
You think so?
That's what you're calling it.
That's what I'm calling.
I don't think so.
You think less?
Mhm.
What do you think? Less would be nice. I'm not
Um,
complaining,
I think
I think
like,
it's
but- In the
2,700.
27?
I was going to say
Really?
27 to 33.
What was it
Because
when
if
I
it's
did the
37, then that means it's over. It's
7,500
7,400 for the full, and I
True.
don't think it is.
True.
Because
I
I've
mean-
never seen more than like 6 or 6,500 for the full.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen everything from the
It's
Ironman
weird.
site says
Hmm.
the half is 2,300 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So
So that's
Okay.
the number
So that
we're
would be
really
nice.
curious about.
I
Do you
mean,
have
my ride
so
in Harriman
expect-
last weekend was more than that.
So
Yeah.
expect 3,700, and then if it's
Yeah.
less, you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Where is this? Is a swim in a lake or?
Yeah.
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 It's supposed to be beautiful.
I think in
Yeah,
French
it's
it's
really-
lac.
Yeah. Yeah, it's supposed to be really nice. I'm very excited. I feel ready.
Do you have any predictions or what you'd like to see?
Nope.
I'm gonna say
Oh boy, here he goes.
Is there? Wait, did he have to eat some like canned oysters or
no.
something?
I win
No.
something because I got mine on the dot.
Yeah.
You guys have to eat oysters now. There are a bunch of oyster places there too. I was
Oh.
like,
Yeah. How did you not get oysters? Both
mm.
places we went for dinner had oysters.
Didn't have raw oysters though.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
The first
Oh,
place I
God.
feel like did.
Did it? Well, the first place I didn't want to have raw oysters before the race.
That's true.
Oh, that's
True.
true. Fair enough.
And
That was a
yeah.
good meal.
That was a really good dinner.
Plus, I didn't want to like drop whatever money on oysters and then make you guys all split that with me.
It's like we're splitting it, right, guys?
yeah.
I'll have
Yeah,
$15.
I'm gonna a dozen oysters. No one else touches one, and I just eat them all. And then, yeah, we're splitting this bill, right?
They tried to shove it down Greg's mouth.
537.
Thank you. Very.
I think you can go under 5:30.
Oh
Fine.
What?
528.
gosh, you guys.
What's the run elevation?
700?
Yeah. Under 5:30.
Okay, yeah, I revised mine.
I don't know you guys, but I appreciate it.
We'll see.
I guess I gotta stick to my original, and then we'll see. And then
I think it's.
whoever wins gets oysters.
I think it's just such a nice race.
No, thank you.
What about swim?
pumped.
Anything special thinking about for the swim?
No.
Not prediction wise, but like
The swim
Full
they say is
suit,
really nice.
sleeveless.
No, sleeveless probably.
okay.
The swim's supposed to be nice. Lake is nice. Water temperature is not too cold.
You're gonna do warm up swim.
I don't know.
Anything they say about like in the what is it pre-race packet? Anything interesting in there?
No, like similar. There's a couple places that's no arrow, no passing.
You're gonna drive the course before? Is that a thing?
I don't know. I'm not gonna have a car, so it's up to my driver.
I think I think it's always very from like we've done it, Muscle Man in here. I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah.
It was nice seeing landmarks where I was like, oh, I can't remember
Yeah.
that part. I
Yeah,
remember this
it is
part.
good to do that. I'll see. I mean, Beth, Yale's wife, is racing the
Mm.
day before, so I'll see what we have time for.
yeah.
Maybe later on, but
It's a pretty easy course. Like,
it's- yeah,
I mean,
What is it? A loop out back?
logistically. I mean, you do. It's
yeah, it's sort of
down to
like
a
you
highway and
yeah,
then-
and then back up.
out and back on the highway. And
Yeah.
then-
So it's just a matter of the hills, really. If it's comparable to what I did on full gas, there's 2 bigger climbs, and the rest are
Rolling.
kind of rolling.
And the
It's
run?
sort of-
How was the course there?
I think it's just
It's
like
a false flat out, and it's like 1%. So you don't even see
Downhill.
it downhill. And then you got to come back up that.
Mhm.
So you barely, it's only 1%, but you're going to
Once?
feel it you'll feel it on the way back because
Mhm.
it's the way back.
Are you gonna take the course's nutrition or are you gonna take your own?
I usually carry some for the run, but I need some from the course also. On the bike, I carry it all on me.
From what I remember, it's always what's illegal, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
And how-
I'll usually have a few gels for the run, and then I'll grab them as I go if I need more.
Do we know how warm or cold it is up there for the?
It's going to be 80s, chance of thunderstorms and rain right now. Not looking great, but it's all right.
Yeah, it's still early.
Won't be great for everybody. So,
It's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
mhm.
And I mean, it's not a technical
Right.
course.
That's
like
so
you
that's
just have to
good,
be
yeah.
okay. Like
Mhm.
maybe some Rain X on your
My visor.
visor.
Yeah. So whatever it is,
It's
you know.
exciting.
I am very.
I think it's exciting to like let other people race and not have to worry about yourself, right?
It was so fun
should
watching you
have-
guys. I was like, this is so fun.
We should have a tracker
Because usually
like
I'm racing with
A
you.
tracker
so-
party.
podcast
Yeah.
get together.
Ooh, like a
Oh.
live commentary.
It's a
It's-
long time to record for.
Yeah, it
We
is.
can
Like
do
we
it.
always race together. So when like you're like not back and it's the Ironman app and you could, I was
Yeah.
tracking you guys like you guys were together. I could see a lot.
like, why are Rich and
Koichi-
James right next to each other on the bike?
Yeah. So yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have us cheering you on, so
Yep.
just know
Sure.
that.
Thank you.
If there's like messages we could leave out on the course, people should do that.
All right. Anything else? We're nearing an hour and a half.
Do we want to announce our local race, the date and time?
Oh, yeah. So 99% approval.
Let's call it 100%.
Just call it approved.
All right. So
by the time this comes out, it'll be 100%.
All right. So make sure everyone, I guess we'll have the website up and everything by the time, but August 13th, PV Tri is on. Sprint course, so nice 300-meter swim. Might be slightly less if we're going to try to work the slide in, so it might end up being like
what?
a slide start. So,
really?
Yeah, I talked to the pool director last year, and she said she had no problem with it. So ideally, I would like everyone to start on the slide, then get dumped into the pool, and then do the lap. So
my God.
I love it.
So we're going to try to do that, and then the same 10-mile bike and 5K run at the end.
Same course as last year.
Same course as last year. I think we're going to bring back the kids division splash and dash. So
Nice.
it'll be the swim and run for
Sweet.
them, and we'll have relays again. And so, of course, medals, age groups, for age group medals, overall, relay teams. I don't know if we'll defend titles or not this year, but we'll see. And then hopefully Power Bar is listening. We'll try to get some support from them on the course, and maybe in everyone's swag bags.
Yep.
But yeah, August 13th, mark the date.
It's an absolute great beginner race. You know, it's a great thing to do in the summertime. We've talked about it. We got to see the details of it, but we were thinking maybe we have a Bergen County Triathlon Team Championship, right?
Yeah.
Some kind of call to action to the other teams out there, RTA, CMC, BCM. Sorry, guys.
Empire's out there too.
Empire, Paramount,
All the New York ones.
all those. Like we'll have some kind of team
We are calling
competition.
you out.
What's the name of the try?
PV Tri.
PV Tri.
Where can we find it?
Don't ask me that yet.
We'll put something out there, right?
Yes.
Yep.
The run sign up page will go up shortly.
Cool.
Soon.
And it's August 13th.
August 13th, 2023 at Stony Brook Swim Club in Hillsdale.
And from now until then, we will be saying it on every episode.
Yeah. And we'll probably do some early registration discounts. So make sure you register early, and then we'll keep registration open as much as possible. I think we're going to try to do 2 charities this year.
Great.
So
Last year we gave $2,500 to the Hillsdale Food Bank, right?
yeah, so goal is to raise twice as much so that we could, I forget the name of the other charity we're looking at. I apologize, but I'll get that. But we're hoping to be able to support a second one. So, all the signups, and if there's any sponsors out there, if you're a local business and you want to help support the cause, reach out to us, and I think we're gonna put out some nice like sponsorship packages where we'll design some nice advertising for you that everyone gets it in their gear bag, so that if you want to offer a coupon or something, that way you get a lot of exposure. So
Cool.
we'll even have you on the podcast if you want. To our thousands and thousands of listeners.
Awesome. Millions, maybe by then.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for listening. This was a really fun race weekend. Kind of gets me excited for more of them. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening. And until next week, this is the Quad Pod.
Thanks everyone for listening to the Next Level Quad Pod. We really appreciate you spending time with us and listening to everything that we have to offer. If you like what you heard, please leave us a review and a rating. Those little things go a long way towards us being able to bring you more content like this. If you'd like to learn more about what we have to offer, please go to our website at goteamnltry.com. There, you can find out about all the different things we provide that can help you reach your athletic potential. Thank you again for finding time in your busy schedule to spend some time with the Quad Pod.